Right, so this is a discussion of cognitive IPB. Now what happens is the commander has a flash of insight and generates end state vision, initial planning guidance, and commander's intent, and hands it off to the staff. What happens is the staff then turns that, using science and professionalism, into this expanding torrent of science-based facts and knowledge. It gets so large and cumbersome that it can obscure the light of the stars that we seek to guide ourselves by. There's also a shelf life of value in that knowledge that the staff is accumulating. In some cases, when it's obsolete, it's just more baggage that we have to tote around and gets in the way of trying to understand the commander's intent, bogged down by the weight of all that baggage. So the running estimate is really how we integrate both the insights and the staff work into a vision of the future and knowledge of the present. Continuous Army design methodology is how we go about updating that estimate with a view towards what the end state is and knowing when it's time to redesign rather than just execute more MDMP. So I want you to think about a staff channel where the intent from the higher echelon comes cascading down. It starts getting filled in with staffing details at each and every level, and a intent channel, a command channel, in which the clarity and focus, the significant few insights of the commanders get passed down pure and unadulterated and are nested, so that at the end of this we're blending the staff channel of information and the commander's intent channel of information to make a decision about what we're going to do at our level. But that's not all. We take into account the information that we're gathering about the enemy from our scouts. We have to blend what's being told to us with what we see and know in order to make a final decision on what kind of action to take. And what we owe is our integration and our insights to inform back up the chain, commander to commander, and then really staff to staff, so that they can update their estimate based on what we're seeing with boots on the ground. Think about it this way, that you're trying to overcome with the commander's intent the high-speed passing lane to make sure that the intent is clear 2 levels down, and the objective being to get inside the mind of the commander at each one of those levels so that they clearly understand what it is that you want them to do. So that's 1 level and 2 levels down. Staff is trying to do its work to develop more details for synchronization and leverage, which you have to have. It's not just an obstacle, but you can't mission command your way across a river. You actually have to synchronize and integrate combined arms in time and space with risk management in order to achieve combined effects on the enemy. So you need that science of the staff to synchronize. But what we have to do is figure out how to eliminate those non-essential pieces of information, or the obsolete, or when you have a situation update and the mission changes, you have to maintain some element of the continuous estimate to carry forward as context. Otherwise, you're always at a blank slate. You're always at a cold start. And you've got to add the new mission information, drop the old obsolete stuff, and so the running estimate is a mini design methodology continuously, in the same way that the commander's estimate is always going through this process. So don't think you can ever stop doing design thinking or design methodology or continuous running estimate when you're doing MDMP. MDMP is simply how we put the technical, specific implementing details, the science of staff work, in order to really synchronize and leverage combined arms effects. You have to have both of those. It's not one or the other. You've got to have quality, effective, mutually supporting information from both of those channels. The trick is figuring out what it is that the staff knows that the commander must know in order to inform his intent, and then making sure the staff understands the purpose, vision, and end state of the commander's intent so they know what to look for in their staff work and to optimize the things that matter the most when it comes down to informed, effective action. Finally, when we see things in the world at our level that rise to the level of interest to the higher headquarters, we've actually got to tell them when we think their intent should change based on the most current read of the battlefield where the rubber meets the road. So it's not just good enough to understand what higher wants you to do. It's also understanding what just changed in the world that you need to tell them to reconsider their intent because new information has come to light. So that's actually a two-way communication of intent and potential and opportunity and risk that expedites up the command channel and then follow through with staff reporting. And then we are constantly in the information management game of trying to figure out what are the essential few versus the trivial many, knowing that there's nothing really trivial because all of it has an impact on our ability to synchronize and leverage combined arms. Thanks for your kind attention.